Hey, what's up, guys? It is the Performance Academy, episode 2. This is Zach Rowe. We're just looking at the volume bar. It's way too high, but that's alright.
Yeah, I gotta stop him from yelling. Sorry about that.
So I did it the first time, so you gotta do it the same. This is my co-host.
Yep, that's me, Josh.
Alright, and it's Performance Academy, episode 2. We got birds chirping. It's early in the morning. It's lit.
It's going crazy out here.
It's crazy out here.
Oh, shit, my coffee.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so today we have a few current events that we're going to talk about. But first, we're just going to go over our fitness-related stuff and just like our topic for the day. So first, I'll just start off with my fitness-related stuff. I'm still cycling like a motherfucker. 3 days a week, just killing the game. So last week was so hard because on Friday I subbed Silver Sneakers, which wasn't too hard. It's a senior class, whatever. But then I had my Fit Zone class right after that. Did some like hike swings, where you hike it in front of you, and you're not just like continuous. And I was really just going hard, and just blasted my hamstrings. Like halfway through the workout, I think I told you, I was like, I gotta chill because I don't wanna like tear something.
Yeah.
I was about to do like a lunge. About halfway through, and my hamstrings were wrecked. And the next day, it was one of my friend's birthday, so we played a casual game of softball and kickball.
Mm-hmm.
And I played way too hard in a casual game. And I was so tired after that. And then Sunday is my normal biking day, and I was so beat up after the last couple of days. My hip flexors, my shit, I was fucked up. But I just went for it anyways. So like 3 days back to back, wasn't recovering well.
Yeah.
And I even told you, we talked about this. Recovery is so complicated with exercise. Because I did all the right things to try and recover properly. I took a cold shower for like 5 minutes or so. I took a lot of CBD oil. I took like double what I normally do.
Yeah.
I slept a lot. I got 8 hours. I did stretching. I did foam rolling.
I mean, was that 3 days of exercise though, like the most you've done in a long time?
Probably.
Because like you're familiar with like the repeated bout effect. Like once you get into like a routine in a program, like then
yeah, it was definitely things I didn't do as much, especially the day 2 with the running.
Yeah, well, I'm sure all of it in combination was, I mean, just because you hadn't been lifting in a while, it was all somewhat new, in a sense. Plus the other actual new stuff,
Well, the hike swings, which really messed my hamstrings up. I hadn't done really those in like about a month or two.
Yeah, so I mean, I think those things just kind of somewhat help, but like, being in a program, like when you've already like experienced the repeated bout effect, that helps you recover. I think that is like the most important thing, and then like those other strategies just kind of help, because I know what you mean. Like when you're hopping back into something, and then like you're just doing too much too soon, or you just pick up where you left off, and you're just wrecked.
I was so wrecked. It was hard to move my legs around underneath my sheets. My hip flexors were so.
That's pretty bad. When the hip flexors are like that?
I was like trying to kick my feet up, and like my, like that hip flexion or whatever, just like kind of move my feet around underneath my blankets, and the blankets were too heavy. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I've had
this
that
is miserable
from time to time where the hip flexors they go, and when the hip flexors go, you're messed up.
Dude,
because you're right. Like you try to lift up the leg laying down in bed, and you're like, dang, like I ain't going nowhere.
It was insane. Yeah, so I think I had set myself to doing like 3 days a week of lifting, like 2 days of upper body and 1 lower body.
Perfect.
I haven't done a single lower body day.
Why didn't you go 2 lower body and one upper body?
Because of cycling, dude.
Because who does it? Yeah, you're right.
I was cycling 3 days a week, and then my Fit Zone class, which is thankfully that's done now. I just say like thankfully, but like that was kind of throwing a wrench in my workout.
Yeah, so you can do the old push pull skip leg routine.
I think I'll actually add legs in, but that day, because I didn't really think about it. But I was like cycling 3 days a week, and then I had Fit Zone, that's 4, and then I was trying to just lift 3 days a week, which is 7 days a week, which is like that wasn't smart. I wasn't really thinking about it. But yeah. So Fit Zone's done because the YMCA is open back up. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of excited that Fit Zone's over. I don't personally like doing group exercise classes where you do it along with them. You never taught a group X class, right?
And I don't plan on it. I might do the small group stuff.
You're not interested in group X at all?
Not really, no. Everyone's too lazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't like the general pop. Not to sound like a dickhead, but
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. That's why, I talked to you about like kind of stepping away from the Y because just 90% of your clients are general population, and it's just mind-numbingly boring after a
yeah,
while.
it's so remedial.
It's just you could do the same kind of workout for the basic structure of a workout for 90% of your clients, and then just any kind of particular what's the word, requirements that they have. Like maybe they have a bad shoulder or whatever, you kind of work around that, or bad hip, you work around that.
Yeah.
But it's for the most part the same kind of workout routine.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah, group X. What was I saying with that?
You're glad it's done.
Yeah, and because I don't really like doing group X when you're actually doing it. I'm much more of a visual person. Like I like to walk around, check people's cueing and whatever, or cue them. Yeah, more of a coach rather than that rah kind of group X person that's like, oh, keep it going, and just going super hard. For me personally, whenever I see that, I just feel like you're making up for your lack of knowledge and just your energy,
Yeah.
That's me personally. So, kind of happy about that. Won't be able to teach group X for the first week that the Y is open, or PT. It'll be week 2, but that's cool. Whatever. I'm excited to get to that. Yeah, that's about it for fitness for me.
For me, I've kind of been pretty like unstructured lately. Just here and there getting in like my workouts. I only did one leg workout this week, but I kind of try to make up for it with volume. Try to get my weekly volume in on that. I'm doing upper body today too, but no structured plan. Just hitting all the big movement patterns I need to do. Some accessory work as well. And I've also been doing some assessment testing for my program that I'm kind of putting together. So like while I'm keeping like this unstructured program, it's kind of giving me an opportunity to like reset, bring my training down, and I'm trying to keep like a hypercaloric state, and kind of using some more like calorie dense food as opposed to just nutrient dense food because it's hard to eat a lot of that. And I've also doing a little bit of cooking, like I mentioned in the last podcast.
Yeah, I saw that.
I did a little bit of that, so I'm just picking out a couple recipes here and there to add in to my other meals, which I'm going to meal prep, and also like my other say like fast food for like the calories, just so I can kind of like
You saying you do fast food?
Huh?
You saying you eat fast food?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I eat 75% of it's like nutrient dense, like clean food, and then the other 25% of it is junk food that helps me get into a hypercaloric state, which is one of the most important things while you're trying to gain weight. Because if I'm eating clean but I'm not in a hypercaloric state when I'm eating clean, then like what's the point of my muscle gain phase?
Mm-hmm.
So and that's something that I'm kind of getting from that book from the Renaissance Diet 2.0 from Dr. Mike Israetel. That's a pretty fun book to read. I mean, it's kind of thorough and whatnot, but it's kind of cool. I like it. So I'm just kind of planning on how I'm going to go about my next program and running assessments and, like I said, more sports-specific stuff. I'm trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do and what type of
sport-specific for like jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I mean, more so, I am going to put some more sports-specific for jiu-jitsu, but also like a lot more like power training than hypertrophy training I was doing.
That's sport-specific.
But I'm going to do a little bit more agility type stuff. And yeah, just flexibility as well, and but I also want to do like enough hypertrophy to like maintain the muscle mass that I've gained. So,
the nice thing about hypertrophy is like what's the saying? It's just doing a third of the volume you were to maintain
it's super easy
to gain. Whatever you were doing, your volume, you just got to do a third of that to maintain what you put on. That's the theory behind it.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. So I'm just figuring out like what my actual structured plan is going to be. And in the meantime, it's kind of giving me an opportunity to reset and plan it all out, like my whole foundation with regards to fitness, like my mindset, just everything else in my life. I'm trying to figure that out so that way I can, when I start doing my program, like I'm not distracted by all the other stuff I have going on, So
yeah,
it's coming together.
Just make it automatic.
Yeah.
Don't let other things in your life throw it off.
Yeah, I have to get those in check before I go on a structured plan.
100%. Because I always talk about it, especially since I got into the health coaching thing. People don't realize the time and the resources and the money and not whatever that goes into goal setting or setting a goal and actually like doing it.
Yeah. So I guess I would call what I'm doing right now like this unstructured time. I'd kind of call it like resource management. kind of like trying to allocate.
Did you just make that up?
I think I did. I might make a certification on that and start selling it. And
Facts. Let's do it.
promote it through this podcast, maybe. I don't know, or something.
That would be smart. Well, that's just kind of what health coaching is about.
Yeah.
It's about considering all your resources and making good goals. I think I talked about the last time the what was it? Something fallacy, goal setting fallacy, which is essentially what I just said. Is you just don't consider what it takes to reach goals.
Yeah.
And it's very important. So that's cool. A couple questions. One is of the food I saw last night. You made just like a shitload, just like a big pan. I just looked kind of like ground beef, vegetables.
Ground beef.
What was going into that?
Some zucchini, some squash, like all diced and whatnot. Some spices, and then what else was in there? Oh yeah, threw in some no salt added tomato sauce in there as well. Threw on low heat after that. Yeah.
Why no salt?
Well, I mean, I already threw salt into the other seasoning, so.
Okay.
And then I think that was most of it. Yeah.
So
It was a pretty easy recipe, honestly, because I'm not a cook, but I'm trying to. But it was pretty easy.
That looks like something I could do.
Yeah,
because I love eating ground beef. I'll just eat straight like ground beef and eggs.
Yeah,
my parents are like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, I can give you like the paper I got. Like I printed it out. It's honestly a super easy recipe.
Yeah.
I'm about to try out a second one today, like a pasta, and see how that goes. So.
Yeah, that's the move. So there was quite a bit there. Like how many meals or whatever did you have that portion out for?
Well, I mean, since right now I'm not actually meal planning per se. Like I'm not actually like portioning it out per meal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
just eating.
Yeah, I'm just eating. So like from meal prepping for like that time, I can kind of like gauge when I'm if I'm eating enough now,
Sure.
And I can check the scale and stuff and check as well. But yeah, it was a good amount. I still have some left over today. I'll probably eat some today and tomorrow. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
On the portion control thing, so Kim, she's a trainer at the Y. She does a Beachbody thing, and I'm thinking about getting into it because it interests me, especially in the nutrition aspect of it. So like the Beachbody, it's like 3 different kind of points to it. There's the fitness aspect of it, and they have just a giant catalog of like she calls it like the Netflix of like fitness. Like any kind of workout program you want to do, like HIIT training. They got P90X, they got bar, they got yoga, they got all kinds of stuff, And so there's that aspect of it, and then there's the nutrition aspect of it, which is one I'm most interested in. And then the sport one, where it's like more support groups and just more of that that interpersonal connection. But the fitness aspect of it has a portion control kind of program where they give you little boxes, and you can plan out your meal for the week. I'm considering doing that because my otherwise I'm kind of just free balling it all the time. I don't know. Are you into like the pre-made kind of little box thing? Voice crack. Dude, my voice hasn't cracked in forever.
Mine did like a couple days ago, and I was talking to like a girl, and I was like.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
No bueno.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pre-portioned box, like just throw your food in there.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I've seen you do it.
Like those little like things I have. I mean, those are like just meal prepping things I have. But like I would like if I had like the money for it, I would do one of those companies that do like account for your macros, whatnot.
Like Trifecta.
Yeah, Trifecta.
See, yeah. I would do that, but I feel like it's hell expensive.
It is, but I mean, if you have you could also do it just for like 1 or 2 meals a day too, as well.
You don't have to do like all.
Like you don't have to do all your meals,
That's probably how I would do it. But because I want to get into the Beachbody, I don't know much about Trifecta. How does that? Do they have any kind of like thing for coaches or whatever, or is it just like
for coaches?
Is it just for like
the selling clients?
Yeah, clients basically.
I don't know. I looked at it for that purpose. I didn't look into it as like a coach. So I check out like their menu and whatnot. It looked pretty cool.
I'm looking for it mainly for coaching because just with the COVID going on, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to come back to the gym anytime soon. So that's why I want to get into the fitness aspect of Beachbody, kind of promote that, have people, have things that people can do at home, the workouts at home. And then a lot of people ask me about nutrition-related stuff, and I don't really have, like, a good answer.
Yeah, I've been
all I use, like, meat and eggs and, like, fruit, vegetables, and it's just like that just like goes in one ear and
Yeah,
out the
falls
other.
on. Yeah,
Well, people are like, okay, that's just
not
like,
gonna do that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and that's really all you got to do. But like, if I had some kind of program I could direct them towards, that's kind of my idea behind it. So that's why I want to get into it.
It's kind of hard for me to give people like advice on that. I mean, I can because I know the stuff, like somewhat. But like I'm someone who like I'm usually in a hypocaloric state, or like I need to eat more, but I don't. You know, like I'm highly active, so I usually like.
Yeah,
that's
we're
why
in a
I'm
different boat.
Yeah, that's why I'm so lean. Is because like I've just my whole life I've just been like super active and not just didn't eat as much. You know, because I would eat that same like plain stuff like eggs, this, and like just kind of plain stuff. You know, so it's like when I have like some food that tastes bomb, like, I'll eat a lot of it. You know, but like
Sure.
you know, I mean, my parents are white. Like my food is not flavored. So like at home growing up, like I was just like, all right, well. I gotta, you know, so I don't keel over. I gotta put this food in my mouth. But you know, I'd go out and I was like, "Oh, this stuff smacks." But my parents' cooking was like, So I just eat
dogging on parents.
Yeah, so I love them. Thank you. So you gotta get that out there real quick. But yeah, so like I don't have like a bad relationship with food where like, I just cram down food.
See, that's the thing. I think a lot of people have a bad relationship with food.
Most people are the other way.
Yeah.
You know,
they just don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand macronutrients. They don't understand just like basic concepts of nutrition. And it's tough to really drill that into them.
Yeah.
It's so complicated. So if I had that kind of resource to direct them towards, I feel like that would be beneficial. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I feel that.
Okay, one other thing. What was it? Oh yeah. So you said you're starting a new program up here soon.
Mm-hmm.
What is it gonna look like? Is it gonna be any like gym in the gym kind of stuff? Or are you mainly gonna try and stick more at home, or how are you going about it?
I think I am gonna go to the gym just because like we said before, like it helps since we work there to show our face.
Yeah.
But then also because then I can like when I go to the gym, like I'll have that for sure mindset and like a structure and like this is what I'm gonna do. You know, like I mean, especially now that I'm
really down.
Yeah, it's like I have a purpose. Like it's kind of like showing up to like the playing field in a sense. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of like the mentality I have with it. And then depending if like
that's how everyone should do it.
Yeah, depending if like stuff gets busy the times I want to go or whatnot, or if I can stay here, or like I can stay here at my house as well. But I'm planning on going to the gym and doing most of the stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. We don't really know how busy it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be really busy, cause just in our up above the main fitness floor is on the second floor, and I think they said 74 people capacity, which is not a lot.
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea if that many people want to come back or they don't. You know, like
I feel like they do.
Yeah,
because even like right before we closed, before quarantine, there were still a lot of people. Well, I mean, it was dropping off.
Like the couple days before,
the couple days right before, it was pretty shallow.
Like if you go in like after like the 12 o'clock mid afternoon, like it was like just like the 4 regulars that you saw every day, and then like
not 4, but.
I mean, like I'm talking about like the weightlifting. Like, okay, sorry, like 8, but like it was like I would look around and be like, wow, like there's no one here.
But like 12 o'clock was always a slow time.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like that type of slow. You know, like it was definitely.
It was definitely dropouts. Those last couple, because we closed on like a Monday or a Tuesday.
Yeah,
or whatever. Those last few days were it was pretty small.
Yeah, so it's
like the week up to that point, it wasn't too bad. And I feel like at this point, most like we were talking about, I feel like most people are pretty reasonable about it. There's still some crazy people out there. We're not saying names, but whatever. For me personally, I'm probably gonna do maybe like 1-2 days a week in the gym. It's not like the 6 days a week I was doing before.
Yeah, it won't be.
Like I don't even have that much interest in lifting weights right now.
Yeah.
So it's just like whatever. Honestly, I'm trying to get a job. I've talked to you about this, but I'll just say it on the podcast. I'm trying to get a job down at the Belmont, off of 2nd Street or whatever, so I can ride my bike down there, teach a couple Group X classes, and then just cruise home. I feel like that would be a good little routine to get into, like once or twice a week, and I can just kind of squish my stuff together, get my workout in, get some work in, get paid. I just need to figure out how much they pay.
Yeah.
Which is the main thing. Because since it's a private club, from what I understand, it's more of a club than like a 24 or a Y. I feel like they're going to pay more. Because, have I talked to you about the Pilates studio?
Yeah.
They paid me significantly more to teach a half-hour class than I was getting. I got paid more to teach a half-hour class at the Pilates place than I was getting paid to teach an hour class at the Y, which doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
So, and at this point, I've been doing it for a minute. I'm pretty comfortable in my abilities to run a class and teach people fitness. So, gonna look into that. Anyways, I just want to tangent.
Nice.
So, what were we talking about? Yeah, working out at the gym.
Yeah.
Don't have any. Not that I'm scared of COVID. I just don't really have any interest in actually doing anything at the gym that much.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, that's it for our fitness that we have going on right now. The portion control. So our topic for the day, we're going to talk about like VO2 max, lactate threshold, and whatnot. Because I've been getting it like the bioenergetics and whatnot a lot recently. Because in the past I've said I don't really want to work with athletes, but I'm getting so bored with the general population clients. I think I want to shift more towards that. And you can incorporate a lot more of bioenergetics training when you're working with athletes because it matters more.
Yeah, it does matter more.
Their energy pathways and what they're using to develop power and endurance and whatnot. So VO2 max is an interesting one. So we did it in exercise phys. I did the VO2 max on the treadmill test. I got a solid score. I couldn't remember exactly what I got. And I remember, what was his name? What was our teacher's name? He said, he asked me if I was it like a marathon runner or something like that. I was
What's that fool's name?
I don't remember. He was so cool though.
Damn.
He would always just like.
Damn, it's gonna piss me off because I can see his face.
Yeah. Start with the M? I don't remember.
Damn.
He would always like joke with us and like, especially Jaden.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, dude. It was like 2 years ago.
That's kind of weird. That's a trip.
Yeah, time flies. But yeah. What was I saying? VO2
Mauricio?
Mauricio. There you go. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. Ooh, yeah, Mauricio. Shout out Mauricio. one day in the future he'll listen to this, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not. But VO2 max, you learn these kind of concepts in school, but you don't really dive super deep into it and understand it completely. I didn't know that you could kind of like top out on your VO2 max. I thought it was kind of just, you could infinitely, I don't know why I thought this, but you could just infinitely increase your VO2 max.
Yeah.
But it tops out eventually. And elite endurance athletes, like triathletes, like those guys on the bikes, like the Tour de France.
Yeah, was it those cross-country skiers?
Tour de France, yeah. Cross-country skiers. Any of those, like, super crazy, like, ultra-marathon runners, like Cameron Haynes. All those kind of guys. Zach Bitter. All those kind of guys, I guess you just, eventually, you get to a certain point where you top out in your VO2 max. And if you're not, sorry, I should explain it. If you don't know what VO2 max is, it's your maximal oxygen uptake, where that's the amount, the maximum amount of oxygen you can get in your lungs to take the maximum amount of air you can get in there to then take the oxygen off and circulate through your blood to oxygenate your muscles and whatnot. And you can only get so high, and then after that,
shit, I get high as fuck.
You only get so high. And then it just kind of tops out. So what's interesting is when you top out like that, there's basically two different things that will increase your performance, and that's efficiency of movement and your ability to clear lactate, or lactic acid, or just acidity, acid accumulation. How much you talk about like lactic acid, acid accumulation, and whatnot, and like, how people conflate those two things.
Well, like they say lactic acid, but that's not really like a, what's the term? Like that doesn't happen like in the body's like in vivo or some shit. Like that's like it's more so like their inability to clear lactate because of like the byproducts of.
Yes, that exactly.
Yeah.
The byproduct of it is hydrogen, which is acidic.
Yeah, but it's not actually lactic acid though.
It's not lactic acid. Lactic acid is really important.
Mm-hmm.
It's an energy source in your body. Just like carbohydrates, phosphocreatine. It's a substrate to create energy. So when you exercise, I believe pyruvate turns into lactic acid, and that's like the byproduct, and you get the lactic acid, but you also get the hydrogen, which is acidic. So you reuse that lactic acid in the liver, and you turn through the Cori cycle. Remember the Cori cycle?
Yeah.
So you use the lactic acid in the Cori cycle to basically recycle it and make more energy. But the big thing is the metabolic acidosis, which is created from the hydrogen. Now, I did not know this, and I remember who's small professor, gymnast. Fuck,
What's her name?
I can't remember.
Which one?
Small. She was teaching our class.
This semester?
Yeah.
Oh, Alencar?
Alencar. I remember she explained this in one of her classes. I don't remember. And I was like, it blew my mind because I was like, what? Like, everyone just says lactic acid. Like, that's just like,
Yeah.
that's just what everyone says. But everyone's wrong.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. Like,
Yeah.
Every fitness professional I talk to at the Y or just like even like YouTube videos online of like fitness type people, they say lactic acid, but it's not that.
Yeah, I know.
It's weird. How do you think that becomes like the thing that people talk about?
That's what throws me for a loop, bro. You know, like, I feel like I'm just starting to speak the language more than anything at the end of my bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
You're just kind of starting to understand it.
Yeah.
So it's the metabolic acidosis. So your body mainly stays around like a 7 pH, right? I would assume.
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's what.
So then, when you're going into acidosis, it drops below 7, closer maybe to like a 6. Or I don't know how low it gets, to be honest. And then because of that, all the functions in your body, all the enzymes and whatnot, start to not work properly because it's too acidic. And then that's when you kind of like what's called hitting the wall.
Yeah.
Where or just peripheral fatigue. Say you're like running, and you're just going so high.
That's when it blocks or like it makes like the like the binding of like actin and myosin more difficult, right? Like it's
that too.
It gets like what does it do like in regards to like the cross bridge? Like doesn't it like it make?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
But it messes up the actin myosin cross bridging in your muscle fibers. It affects enzymes like that transport materials and whatnot. There's a lot of stuff that goes on.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
We're not going to get super into science because you guys probably don't care, and I don't care enough to learn.
I mean, I do. That's just like it takes a lot to get into.
It takes a lot
because like we've learned about like physiology, biomechanics. Like we've kind of done a bunch of crash courses and like a little bit of everything.
That's right.
And like they're all their own thing. Like there's exercise science is its own like major. There's biomechanics like it's its own thing. You know, like
yeah, you could get like a whole like doctorate degree in any kind of little emphasis that we've done.
Yeah.
And we've taken like a 12-week course?
Yeah.
16-week course. So I just like to know things enough to be able to explain them.
At least take the principles away, I think, is what's
principles.
important. Yeah.
And how to apply it in your training.
Yeah.
How to apply it in your training.
Yeah.
So the metabolic acidosis, it's the actin myosin bridges, the enzymes, whatnot, and that's what eventually kind of creates that peripheral fatigue. Say like you're running and you're just going so high intensity for so long, eventually you have so much lactate buildup, which is the acidosis, that you just can't even move anymore. There's just too much, and you gotta wait for your body. You gotta either stop or bring down the intensity so your body has time to clear that lactate.
Yeah,
which is very interesting.
Did you look at the talk test at all with VT1 and VT2?
Not really.
I feel like I should have done that before this too, but like it was kind of interesting. I gotta send you that.
Yeah.
That little workshop because it was kind of cool.
Yeah. The main thing I wanted to get to with this is that so I just looked it up. The highest VO2 max that's been recorded by a gentleman is 96 milliliters per kilogram per minute, which is very high. I was trying to remember what I got. I think I was like 55, 60, somewhere around there. And for the women, it was like 77. So when you peak out on your VO2 max, you can't get any higher. So like I said, more efficient movement, and then also increasing your ability to clear lactate. So lactate clearing is really important, which I never really considered for endurance.
You don't.
Athletes.
You wouldn't. Yeah.
So if you're that kind of endurance athlete, something to keep in mind and work on. If you'd like help with that, reach out to me or Josh, and we'd be able to train you.
Yeah.
and yeah.
I mean, it's kind of interesting because you mentioned like VO2 max caps out, but then it comes down to like lactate threshold, and then also like the exercise. I forget what you said, but like
Economy and movement.
yeah, I was gonna say exercise economy, and like what helps like exercise economy is like actually strength training, which you would think would be counterproductive
True.
to like like a high endurance event, but because like you're not doing enough volume and like strength work, like you don't really see that transition of fibers, like of muscle fibers towards the type 2s, because like, you have so much like volume that requires type 1 muscles that like you don't really see that transition, so that you get like the beneficial effects of improving exercise economy without the detrimental effects to performance in your high endurance events.
And when you do the resistance training, you'd always probably just do higher volume anyways, which is more.
Yeah, you can, but like I actually like read like when I was doing one of my presentations, like it said do strength training for like triathletes or high endurance,
like 5 reps and
like stuff like that. Yeah,
I guess it's all relative.
yeah,
That person that's like marathon runner, their 1RM is not going to be extremely high, so their overall weight's
I mean,
not gonna
the
be
argument was saying because you're not doing that much volume to like be a strength athlete, like you're not going to see like those transitional fibers, because then on your other training runs, like you're doing so much volume there that you're not going to see that transition.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So you're gonna get those benefits to exercise economy, which will then help in
like
your
stronger connective tissue.
Yeah,
like your ligaments, your tendons.
That's a huge
what
thing
else?
for like safety as well, and just injury prevention.
That,
like that's the biggest detriment to like endurance athletes is injury and overuse. Overuse. Damn, there you go.
I've experienced that firsthand. I actually had a client at the Y. She was a runner. She was in high school, and she was already having knee issues. And the problem is she was running all the time.
Yeah.
Her mom had her running all the time. And I was like, you can't have her running all the time.
That goes back to recovery, too. Back.
Yeah, recovery. But this girl was not, she was not doing any kind of resistance training. And they were prioritizing running, even on the off season. Which is another thing. That's a whole other topic. I should write that down. The differences between off-season, pre-season, and during season, and how your
transitional phases as well.
Yeah, transitional phases, and how your training should change. It's very important. Here, keep talking, because I need to write this down.
Keep talking, huh?
I can't talk.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about in regards to lactate?
Just if you're an elite. Not even elite, but just a endurance athlete, focus on increasing lactate clearing abilities through your training.
Yeah,
and not just your VO2 max, because your training is going to be different.
Yeah,
your VO2 max, you're just trying to just run a really long distance.
Yeah.
But lactate clearing, you're going to do more like sprints and higher intensities.
Yeah, that's why like if you see like a marathon training program, that you can get ones for free on the internet. Like a lot of them do have on certain days, like you do interval training. Like you do tempo type training where you're at a higher intensity, because you want to try to shift that lactate threshold over to the right. So that will stop like that being the limiting factor, as opposed to that way like your lactate threshold is not the limiting factor, because you probably already have like enough of an aerobic base from all the other.
Most likely, if you're already been like doing endurance athletics for say a year, year, I mean even maybe 6 months.
Yeah,
that's probably you're gonna have a good aerobic base. I'd say my aerobic base has improved so much through cycling, and just like the month and a half, 2 months at this point maybe that I've been doing it. So it doesn't take long to build up that VO2 max, but the lactate threshold you gotta really focus on.
Yeah, honestly, if I was being honest, my aerobic base is probably its lowest it's been in a while, just because post marathon. I mean, I didn't run anymore, and jiu-jitsu has been closed, so
because
and so I would play soccer for like recreationally, but still play and run around a couple times a week. So I haven't really been doing anything, So.
No, for sure. My aerobic base was so terrible right at the beginning of quarantine. So we talked about it, but I had been doing just straight weightlifting for 3-4 months, and hadn't done any cardio at all.
Yeah.
So that first like week or two of me like running before I got into cycling, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Struggle city. I was stopping a lot just to catch my breath. or not catch my breath, but get my heart rate down because
Yeah.
my heart rate was spiking.
I think it's important that people realize that, like, doing aerobic work is important because then you can tolerate more more volume in your training as well because it helps with recovery.
That's a good point. That happened to me personally as well. I think I told you I was working out with my dad. I was lifting weights with my dad like last week, and we were just doing some upper body stuff. We did some bench, we did some rows, we did some lateral raises, and we did some curls. And I've been cycling a lot, so I had a really good aerobic base, but I hadn't really been lifting that much. But I mean, I was recovering really well in between sets. And my dad was not, to say the least.
Yeah.
I don't go too bad on him because he might listen to this. He said he was going to listen to my first one, but I don't think he has, but it's fine. Whatever. I'm cussing too much, so I'd rather he not listen to it, but whatever. But yeah, he was not It was very interesting to watch. Yeah, just his, like, how Israel always says, like, the 4 checkpoints for rest in between sets. It's like, your
Cardiorespiratory?
Well, yeah, your cardiorespiratory, number 1, but your, like, say you're doing chest press.
Local muscular fatigue,
synergist muscle fatigue, and then is psychological last one?
There is psychological. I feel like there's I feel like psychological was a bonus one. I feel like there was one.
Was there another one?
I think there was. Was it systemic? Or was it? Yeah, right. It was like.
I can't remember. Let's just say those are the 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, so cardio is one of them, which you don't consider your cardiovascular system that much when you're lifting weights, but it's actually pretty important.
I mean, we said synergistic, but I feel like he said like.
Here, I have it.
Written
down somewhere.
But like I know, like for an example, like he would say, like with squats, like he would say, make sure like your low back isn't fatigued or isn't the limiting factor.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not like a synergist. That's just like a stabilizing.
No, your CNS, yeah. So psychological, which I kind of like rope into your CNS.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, your target muscle, your synergist muscle, your cardiovascular system, and then your CNS, central nervous system.
Yeah.
So that's more important, I say, when you're going to those high intensities.
Yeah.
Whether it's low weight, high repetitions, and doing a lot of repetitions, or high weight, low reps, and I'd say that probably puts more.
Yeah.
More so.
Yeah.
On your CNS, but a lot of people don't consider that.
They don't.
Is that the stress you put on your nervous system?
Like I used to be for a little bit. I'd be like a stickler about the time. Like what's the time at this or that.
Me too.
But then I use those checkpoints and I just auto regulate. Then I feel like a much better like stimulus, a much better workout.
Mm-hmm.
And like the quality is much better.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, rest intervals there for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
On that, sweet.
Okay, I think that's it for the topic today. Where am I at? Anything to add to those? I was just gonna talk about gels, but it's fine. We're already like 40 minutes in. Let's get to the current events. We're trying to stick to around an hour. So current events. First we'll talk about CrossFit. You might have an interesting take. I'll just throw it up. I'll just tee it up here. So, I think it was like not even a week ago. The CrossFit CEO, what's his name? Something Glassman.
Yeah.
He had a business kind of voice call with his affiliate gyms, and he said some kind of possibly racist stuff. What did it say on there? I can't remember. It was kind of sus on what he said. I don't really know. And then like a couple hours later, he tweeted out, "It's Floyd 19."
Yeah, it just sounded to me like he just didn't really care that much about like the whole thing that was going on.
Yeah.
Which like I don't know exactly how he meant it, but I kind of get what he's saying. Like what happened, like we could like what happened to Floyd, like that. Everyone agrees that's terrible.
Terrible.
But like it's like this whole like what has become now, like I'm not exactly like with that. And like he was saying like why do I have to go hop in on that? That's what I got from it.
That's the biggest thing is that if you're not in support of the movement, being the Black Lives Matter movement, you're racist. It's not enough to not be racist. You have to be like anti-racist.
Yeah, like you have to
which
be like,
is very strange.
Yeah.
And then I think he was trying to say a joke, and it was just a sloppy attempt.
Yeah, I didn't get the Floyd. I think it was like a joke at like the pandemic. I think it sounds like he was making fun of like the pandemic, then like calling out. Yeah, it sounded like a joke, but like it didn't quite hit to me. But like it didn't sound terrible. Like it wasn't like we need to like throw the guy out. Like I was like, okay, whatever.
And then he's like an old white guy, so it's just like
I just feel
It's
like it's
just-
stupid that like you have to like that like I don't know. I guess I feel for them like or people like they're in like business and whatnot because like they kind of can't
The
say
thing-
anything.
The thing is with business is you just can't voice your opinion.
You gotta toe the line, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what like all these big
I mean,
companies are doing. You
I
know?
remember when Elon, he just smoked some weed. He didn't even inhale.
yeah,
He like puffed on a fucking blunt, and
Yeah.
the stock of his whole company just like
Yeah.
tanked. So it's just like, I don't like that how business people have to be just so, by the book and just
socially justice like
Yeah,
they just have
so-
wherever the
socially
wind's
woke.
going.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Um,
kind of funny. Like, I'm just gonna pick on Nike for example. Like, Nike ran some whatever.
You know,
but
I
they're the
haven't
ones
seen
that,
that yet.
yeah, I forget.
My dad told me.
Yeah,
about
they
it.
ran something about it, but like, they're the ones over here in like, was it China or whatnot? Like, the
Yes.
child labor. Like,
That's a good point.
like what, dude? Are you
Same,
guys
same with
kidding?
LeBron.
Like, you guys are jokes, dude.
Remember when LeBron he called out Drew Brees for what his statements.
Yeah,
But then he was talking against the Houston Rockets, either owner or someone high up there, and speaking out about the China thing. And he was like, "Hey, shut your mouth," basically, because that's affecting our bottom dollar.
Oh, the market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
so he was trying to silence protests and whatnot that were going on in China, and so he wasn't in support of that because that affected his bottom dollar. But then he shouted down Drew Brees and because he didn't believe in this protest.
Yeah,
So the hypocrisy,
yeah, dude.
both. I mean, it's just
It's annoying.
that's annoying. So I don't even know where to go from there, but I just want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
But-
down a rabbit hole if I get on this topic. So
Yeah, I'll look up the Nike thing later. But homeboy basically got canceled, and he had to resign as the CEO of CrossFit because it was affecting the brand as a whole. There were gym affiliates that were, removing themselves from the CrossFit thing, and then Reebok dropped them as a
sponsors are
sponsor.
dropped. Yeah,
I'm sure they had some other sponsors, maybe like Rogue. I
Who
think
knows?
sponsors them. They probably dropped them too. So it's just affecting the business, and at the end of the day, it's a business that's there to make money.
at
They
the end of
don't-
the day,
they
it's
don't-
about money.
They don't really care
It's all about
your,
class. It's about money, and it's about power. That's on everything.
yeah. They don't care about his opinion. It just affects the bottom dollar, and so that's why he had to resign. Essentially,
Yeah.
whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but it is what it
It
is.
is what it is. Yeah. Let's
It
get to
is.
the fun one about. Oh, I guess
Is
we
it-
can do gyms. I was just say the Jeff Cavalier, but
We'll just go over gyms real quick. So I think last one we did, gyms were kind of starting to open in like Florida, Texas.
there was
but
just
it's
rumors of it. Yeah.
Was it just
At the time,
rumors?
they're,
Yeah.
they're talking about like what they're gonna do at 24 and stuff like that.
Now it's like full on. I mean, even in California, a very liberal state, gyms are opening. I mean, they could have opened yesterday.
Yeah, some did.
Yeah, yesterday was the first day they could have opened. Us personally at the Y, we're opening Monday, so that's cool. We kind of already talked about it a little bit on whether we're gonna be going or not. Of course we will be because we're just gym people. We work at a gym. But that's interesting. So, I did predict it a little bit. I was like, if they make members wear masks, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
So they said they're not required technically, but they're recommended.
you have to wear them in.
Yeah.
and
And then once you get upstairs, I guess, to your machine or
Yeah.
whatever, you can take them off.
It's recommended, not required.
Yeah. But it just doesn't even make sense because you're in a building that's all sealed in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're wearing a mask and you're doing whatever with the mask, and then you take it off in the same building. Well, then whatever you have is out there in the building. And then if you put it back on, like you already spread whatever you
Yeah, I
spread.
know. Yeah.
So it doesn't make. And restaurants do the same thing, where you have to like wear a mask. You go to your table. Once you get to your table, you take it off.
Yeah, it's all BS, dude. It,
It
just
just-
makes people
it
feel
doesn't-
good for
Yeah, it just
whatever
makes you
reason.
feel. It doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. And the whole like,
Why do you have to wear it in particular parts of the place, but not in other parts?
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's all the same thing.
the whole like scanning of the thermometer too. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous too, because you could be asymptomatic. Majority of the people that have it are asymptomatic.
Yes.
And I thought for a second, so the WHO put out a thing that said if you're asymptomatic, you're highly unlikely to spread it, but I guess that's been.
Well, they walked
Denied.
that back probably because they got too much backlash for shutting down the world for 3 months. You know.
So is it true or not? I don't know.
The virus is a hoax, so just throwing that out
They
there.
said that, and then like 3 days later, I brought it up in a meeting, and then everyone started yelling at me, saying that wasn't true. I was like, okay, I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, they
The WHO said this. The World Health Organization. This should be the leading people that know what's going on, and they don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, 3 months in, I think that's pretty clear that they don't know what's going on.
That's bananas, dude.
Yeah,
that's bananas. But I think overall it's a positive. Gyms are opening. People are getting back to doing their thing.
Yeah. Hopefully we can go back to normal. I don't know. I always thought like the end of the world would be fun, but I'm like maybe like just not in my lifetime. Actually, you know what? Just let me live my normal life.
No kidding. Okay, that's it for that. Relatively simple topic there, but yeah, we'll go to the Jeff Cavalier controversy. So okay, there's two different things going on here. First, it was Greg Doucette. My bad.
DuPont.
Why is that? Why I said DuPont?
I don't know. I feel like that's somebody.
Yeah, someone. I
don't know.
Conflated names. But he said I think he called him out first for juicing, right?
Yeah, for possibly
juicing. And then it was also the fake weights thing.
Yeah.
And then he didn't acknowledge anything about the juicing. He only called out Greg about the fake weights thing.
No, it was the other way around.
No, I thought it was fake weights.
No, he was saying that, like, you come down here and test me. Like, Jeff Cavalier was saying, like, come down here and test me.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got it mixed up. You're right.
He didn't address the weights.
Yeah. So, test me. He offered to fly him down. And he said if he's right, then the other guy, Greg, has to cancel or delete his YouTube channel. He said if he's wrong, he will delete his YouTube channel.
And give him like $1 million or some shit like that.
You said that too?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So, he either is not juicing or has really good chemists. I don't know. One or the other.
They were saying that like he could have done it in the past, or like there was some stuff he could be taking and then not take it, and in a couple days it'd be out of his system.
Yeah, because that's the thing with PEDs is that you don't need to constantly be taking them to gain the benefits of them.
Yeah.
Because when you juice, you get the boost of testosterone or whatnot, and that not only strengthens your muscles but also strengthens your ligaments. Or does it?
I think it does. I mean, it's growth hormone. I mean, if you're taking growth hormone,
growth hormone, it'll vary from PED to PED because not all of them are the same, right?
No, yeah.
But it strengthens your body as a whole, your bone mineral density.
I mean, they work. You know, that's why people say
they work.
They work. Yeah.
People take them because they work, but you don't always have to be taking them to make them work because like guys cycle on and off.
I mean, you can take them. You can do one cycle, and then like you'll be able to like to grow like better or whatnot than like someone who never took them. You know?
Yeah, because it's that
I want to say it improves like your genetic limit or genetic limit. I mean, is that what it's? I mean,
I would say more of like your muscle memory. That's not the right term, but like once your muscles are used to doing that particular thing, you can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know the term for that.
I guess, yeah, I don't know the term exactly either, but I would say like you have a new ceiling, like your new genetic set limit is now higher.
That's a good way to put it, because you have just a particular ceiling based on your genetics, and you can 100% break through that with taking performance-enhancing drugs, no doubt.
Like, I feel like I would almost like do like a cycle just because like, I mean, a low cycle just because like it does work and to improve. But like, I want to be able to say like what I've done, I did without doing anything. Just to like say like I did it like with enough time, whatever. You can do it without doing anything too. You know, like I just, you know, I mean, it does work, but like I think it'd be cool to say like, oh, I've done this without doing anything.
Yeah,
you know?
But you know, it works only up to, or you can only get like so far with just your genetics. And once you get to that certain point, whether it's like 23, 25, 27, 30, then maybe you have more of a reason to take it.
Oh, you're talking about like testosterone replacement, stuff like that?
Yeah, basically steroids.
Yeah,
same shit.
hormone therapy and whatnot.
Yeah,
that's something that I could see like maybe Jeff Cavalier being on, you know, but cause, like, he's pretty old. Yeah, he's like 40-some, later 40s or maybe close to 50. I don't know.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, look that up. But I mean, like, he's in really good shape for his age. And like I used to say like, oh, it
44.
is 44. Like, is his lifestyle? So maybe he could. But like,
he's shredded like all the time.
He's in really good shape, and like his body's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just the lifestyle, but like you wouldn't think his body.
He's not huge.
No, he's not huge. He's not big.
But he's like always shredded.
Yeah. And I'm sure he was strong because of his lifestyle, but yeah, I mean, him like deadlifting was like 5 plates or some shit like that.
Yeah, so that's the origin of all this. He was deadlifting like 5 plates or something, which is...
It looked too easy as well.
It was 5 plates was 405
Uh,
plus 90, so like 495.
Yeah, but it was also him doing like skull crushers with like 45s on. Like, did you see that?
No, I did
That's
not.
another some people
I
were picking
just-
at like him
I
doing
just-
skull crushers with like 45 plates on it. And it was like people were like calling that out, like the way he was doing it too, like how easy it was looking.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
a lot of weight for a skull crusher.
yeah, I mean for his size as well.
Yeah. But we were talking about it yesterday. I don't understand if he was using the fake weights. I don't know why, because he's not like this kind of like a Bradley Martin maybe, where you're doing like stunts online.
Yeah, well, what's that
for
one fool who's
clout.
like who says he's
Brad
not?
Castleberry.
Yeah.
You're not that kind of guy.
Yeah, no.
You're not a huge juice dude like trying to get clout from the weight you lift.
Like he's a professional to me, like Jeff Cavalier. Like he is
Yeah.
the knowledge guy who lives it out. But like I don't look at him as like a strong man or like someone like
No,
like that.
He's a physical therapist. He's a strength coach. He's a very knowledgeable guy, and I think that's the reason why people go to him. It's not because of how much weight he lifts. So it's just a weird move, in my opinion, if he was using fake weights to do that.
I mean, I wouldn't really care per se.
I wouldn't care either.
If like he wasn't using that much weight, or if he would just say like, oh yeah, like these are like, because he's just doing it to like demonstrate the lift or whatever. Like if he just said like, oh yeah, like I mean, he could use fake weights if he wanted to, but just don't like lie or say you're not when you are, you know, or just use what
Yeah.
you can use. Like I really don't care either way, but just
Yeah.
don't like he just don't lie to us because he's put out so much good information that like it's kind of like
It discredits. what
yeah
you
a
said.
little bit
Yeah, a little bit. No doubt.
yeah. It's
So-
interesting because he kind of is like what got me into fitness, and then then I ended up changing my major to kinesiology because like I kind of found this new avenue that I loved, which was fitness, and like I recognized right away that like, oh, this guy's legit. Like he's not giving me some bro stuff. Like
Yeah.
he's explaining, you know, he has his little Raymond, like the little skeleton guy, where he explains like anatomy, physiology, and stuff like that. And like I was like, oh, this guy's educated. I kind of like the science behind this. And then, like I said, I went out and pursued a degree in it.
Okay.
So he
No
really
doubt.
got me into it.
So, yes or no, is he juicing?
Yes or no? Is he juicing? Oh boy, see, because I was such a fanboy, I always wanted to say no, and I don't want to
Yeah,
just turn
it's
against
tough.
him. But like, I'd be open. Okay, I'm gonna say yes. Maybe he's taking something like but is like what's the word? Is it what's the
Endogenous.
endogenous?
Endogenous testosterone.
Endogenous. Yeah.
TRT.
Yeah. I had to figure that one out for a second, but yeah, I would think.
Endogenous is not from your body,
Yeah, what's
and exogenous is
exogenous is like
from your body.
yeah, and yeah, okay, yeah.
So TRT. You think
Yeah,
he's
I would
taking
think
TRT?
I would think he's taking some or yeah,
I would agree with that.
yeah.
I would agree with that.
And I wouldn't care though because like he's
I
this
don't
is
care.
this is like fitness is his life and he wants to stay in shape. Like he's just
It does help you, the public perception, and people listening to you if you're in shape.
yeah
100%.
yeah. I mean,
Because there's some dummies out there teaching people that are in really good shape.
and not to shit on people, but like in our own major, people who are fitness majors, and I was like, bro, you didn't even look the part, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like you gotta be jacked or whatnot, but like at least like look like athletic or whatnot or something. You know what I mean?
100%. You got to kind of look like you know what you're talking
Yeah. Like you're living a
Um,
fitness lifestyle.
about. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think we agree with that. Yes or no, is he using fake weights?
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree too, because we talked about this yesterday. The fake weights that he was using, there's a fake weight like website, and the ones from the website look exactly like the ones he's using. And they're not any type of weight you would see in a gym. They're not bumper plates, like the plasticky bumper plates, the thick ones. They're not like the UMax one with the that kind of gritty kind of material
Mhm.
around it. They aren't steel plates. It's like a
It's
a
a
weird
very unique-
plasticky kind of.
It's a very unique plate.
I've never seen a plate
Yeah.
like it, you're probably like, what are you talking about? Like if you don't use plates before, but you know kind of what plates look like. You
Yeah.
know, and they look very weird. Same with the Brad Castleberry ones. I don't
Yeah.
know if you ever looked into that, but
I mean, I've seen him curl like a ridiculous amount of weight,
Yeah.
and I'm like, bro, what is this?
just the weights in particular. His in his case, it's funny because he always does his stuff at a 24-hour fitness down in like Carlsbad or like San Diego or something like that. And the weights that he's using don't look anything like the weights that are in the 24-hour fitness. So that one's pretty obvious in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I
I feel like he just that guy plays a personality.
yeah, 100%. I would agree. Okay, that's it for the Jeff Cavalier controversy. Next is the Ronnie Coleman podcast. He was on the JRE. That was a very interesting podcast to listen to.
For someone like us, I think that when we see people like guests like that, like we really like that. Or like Pavel Tucsolini, when he was on, like I saw that, I was like, oh shit, like this would be awesome. Like, I'm gonna like this.
A fitness one, because Joe's he's like fitness adjacent. He like lives that kind of lifestyle, but he's not like professional.
Fitness adjacent's a good term.
He's not. And like some people roast him for like saying fitness related things because he's not educated in it, but he promotes it, which I appreciate.
Yeah, he does promote the lifestyle, which I can really appreciate.
And it's interesting because I think he's only had one other IFBB pro on, Dorian Yates.
Okay,
about a year and a half ago. So this is the second one, I believe. I might have missed one, but this was a really interesting one. First off, I told you this. I didn't know his voice. Like his voice is so high pitched for how he used to look. He used to look like a complete monster. Like.
Yeah, I've only heard him yell, "Yeah, buddy."
Yeah. Like, wait. Yeah, buddy. That's like all you ever really hear from him. So, in like his training videos. So it was really interesting just to listen and talk. So first thing, I have 3 points here that I want to go over if you have anything to add. But first is body fat percentage that he claimed to be at. It was 0.33%
on stage.
Now.
He even said he got negative. Did you hear him? He said he got negative.
No, I don't remember that. What? Negative?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But just explain to the people how ridiculous 0.33% body fat percentage is.
All right, you would be dead. Yep. Let me just say that because like your body needs that for like
your brain
function. Your for
brain.
Bodily function, you need to have like it's like anything less than 3%, and like you're like borderline should go to the ER very soon. Like you can hit 3% on stage, but like for like a limited amount of time. Like
your internal organs, your brain, it's all going to start not working.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you don't even need to be that lean, like you can be like 4 or 5, like even like if you're like under 10%, like you look pretty good lean, but like on stage, I get the point of like wanting to go down leaner, but yeah, he wasn't down that low, but I mean, you also have to think about like, when was he competing, like 15 years ago, 15 plus years ago, I mean, I know he was winning in like 98, 99, like back, like, but like, so like, and also, like, the testing he was talking about, like, calipers and whatnot, like, there's a lot, like, Greg Doucette mentioned it, like, there's a lot of different caliper testing, and there's a variance on it as well, and especially at those low levels.
That's a good point.
At those low levels of body fat he was at, like, there is room for error, and especially at that low levels, then,
calipers, when you're that low of a body fat percentage, are not very accurate.
Yeah.
Same in the reverse. If you have a lot of body fat percentage and you use calipers, they're not very.
Yeah, and he also did a hydrostatic weighing as well. He said he was around like somewhere around the same, but those are still estimations. Those formulas are based on like estimates,
Yeah. Even like the hydrostatic. Well, what's the best? The DEXA.
DEXA is. Yeah.
Did they even have that back then? I don't think they did.
I don't remember hearing him mentioning DEXA.
DEXA is a relatively new thing, which is they call it like the gold standard, but even then it's still it's still like
on DEXA. I thought it was kind of interesting. Just a side tangent. Gaethje was saying that like he has like the densest bones in the UFC.
Does he really?
That's what he was claiming. Like he said, like the person couldn't tell him for sure, but he was saying that like he does. It was something. It was on Joe Rogan. He was on like.
I haven't listened to that one. I need to listen to that.
That was pretty cool.
I like Trevor Whitman.
Yeah, but back to that. And then he was saying he was 3% in the off season. Like you could not sustain.
It's not even an advantage to be that low.
No, there's not.
I remember Isotel talking about it.
Yeah, you're trying to gain muscle. Like you need to be like in such like a hypercaloric state where you're going to bring on fat as well, and then cut that. So there's no way off season he was 3%. And like I mean, this guy's like a what was it, Mr. Universe? What was it?
Mr. Olympia.
Mr. Olympia.
8 years in a row.
Yeah, well that's insane. That's a beast. But like he's not like an exercise scientist. Like he is like he is like a bro. Like not just to minimize him as a bro, but like he's not like an exercise.
He has guys around him, like scientist kind of guys around him to help him out with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he just comes with a good attitude and good genetics.
He's the athlete. Yeah. Exactly. So,
okay, so that was number 1, crazy ass body fat percentage. Second was the DEA. How the DEA came and shut down the whole operation. They were like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" Remember that part?
Mm-mm.
So
I feel like they mentioned about
they're obviously doing lots of steroids, right? And steroids is an illegal.
Oh yeah.
Is an illegal substance. You can't have just steroids on you. And the DEA was like, "Hey, what do you guys got going on here?" and started to kind of crack down on it. So I thought this was very funny. He had to do it like all above board. He would go to a doctor and they would give him just straight up fucking like just Serenabol, D-bog, growth hormone, like a doctor. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
The Mr. Olympia going to the doctor and like, dude, my balls don't work. I need testosterone.
Yeah, but he was saying that because like when like because Joe mentioned it, like for a little bit, bodybuilding tried to do that pretending thing, like where they said they were natural, like they didn't take stuff. But once people really started catching on, like they were saying that like the younger generation were taking it and stuff like that, and like they couldn't deal with like the mood swings and like all those problems and stuff. So then Ronnie Coleman said that like kids were like killing themselves. So like that's when the DEA came.
Which
I mean, I don't think that was like a big thing. But I'm sure there's cases.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah.
When people try and say steroids are like bad for you and like you're gonna like die or whatever.
Yeah.
There's definitely some other stuff going on with that. I don't know the particular cases he's talking about, but
I'm sure there's outliers. But who's to know? Like that was exactly what it was. I'm sure that if that did happen, those people probably had other factors in their life as well. Like it wasn't the steroids that made them kill themselves.
Yeah, I would agree. But I feel like that's kind of the case right now with bodybuilding is they don't really talk about it. But like,
it's accepted. I mean, it is what it is. Like if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do that, that's part of the game.
I remember Phil Heath. He went on the Fire and the Kid podcast about a year and a half ago, and they didn't mention it once. It was weird.
Really?
But then, I mean, all the older IFBB pros, Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dorian Yates. I'm trying to think of some other ones. They all just talk about it very openly. Like this, like I remember Yates he like told Joe his stack. Same with Ronnie.
I know, but from what Ronnie was saying, like I've heard like other guys say, it's like you actually don't need to take like a whole bunch.
I thought that was interesting.
Like there's some guys like I know like Rich Piancka, like famous for it. Like he was just going ham with it,
Yeah.
And like didn't his organs just like grow too big and like his heart was like insanely like huge?
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Some people do go crazy
the
with
growth hormone. And the thing with growth hormone is not just your muscles grow, but all your tissue.
I feel like it's important too, like you say, and like I definitely like kind of like minimize like their hard work. Like I would just say like they take steroids, but like they said, like you guys, like it's not that much that they're taking. Like these guys who still want to live afterwards, and like like they're not just trying to send it, but like it's also like all like I mean yes the training of course, but like the food. Like they're eating like a crazy amount. Like Ronnie Coleman, you say like he was eating like a pound of chicken like per meal.
Yeah.
He had 6 meals a day or something like that. Like there's a lot, and like that's actually work when you're eating like that. Like that's a whole lifestyle. Like that is like there's so much that goes into
all you
it.
Do.
Yeah. So
that's
like
all you do.
I used to say like like, that's like, they take steroids and like yes steroids help to a point, but like they're not just taking steroids and shooting up to like 250, 260 like lean like that.
No.
Like that is hard work still.
Yeah, the main thing that steroids do, people don't even really understand what steroids do, but it helps you recover a lot.
When I said I'd be interested in like whatever, like that's another reason like why I'd be like really interested in it. It's like the whole recovery part.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it, but like that's like a huge benefit I would see to me.
Because like I was talking about earlier, it's so hard to recover, even with the concepts that we have now that we think work. Even then, it's just kind of like eh.
Yeah, and
it's like you can only do so much.
And in like bodybuilding and like high performance sports, like they say, like it's not so much like the work that like the athletes put in the gym that becomes a limiting factor on their success, because everyone at that level is putting in hard work. It's their ability to recover and then like do another hard session as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's where like that comes in. Like that's when like what was his name? Was it Dillashaw?
Yeah, he was taking EPO because he well that was different because he couldn't get down in weight.
Yeah, but then I also heard like he was struggling so hard to get down to the weight that like then he couldn't recover. Like he had no energy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So he was taking EPO, which is that's a PED, but it works a lot different than
it's different.
Other ones. It increases your cardiovascular output, so you can just do more work.
Kind of like how we were talking about aerobic base, but like that's like an endogenous way of improving.
Yeah,
your
essentially base. It had EPO stands for erythropoietin or erythropoietin or something like that, which is a component in your red blood cells. So it basically just increases the volume of red blood cells in your bloodstream, which of course that's what attaches to
erythropoietin.
Yes, there you go. Erythropoietin.
I don't know. Let's just stick to the acronyms.
EPO. It's EPO.
Yeah.
And so it just increases red blood cells, which then that's what holds on to the oxygen, which allows you to carry more oxygen, which increases your cardiovascular output. That's essentially how it works. And he used that to get a advantage. And he was caught.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like other acronyms, like when you actually can say the whole word, like you feel smart, like dimethyltryptamine. You know, like that's one, or like
yeah, ATP.
ATP, yeah,
Well,
adenine triphosphate.
There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it with the DEA. I thought that was just interesting that they were onto him.
Yeah.
Last is him talking about how he misses it a lot. He was like, oh yeah, I miss it tremendously, like the training. And here, let me. There was a caption.
Well, I think that's pretty common with like all athletes, you know, who make a career out of playing sport or whatnot. Cause like their whole life leading up to that point was that sport and like performing in it and whatnot. And then once they've kind of tailed out at the end of their career, it's like, well, like I write off the end of that, you know, like they don't have like that chase that they had before in their life, you know.
Well, that's the thing, because he keeps going back, which is. There was a comment about it. Oh yeah, so Ryan was like, I miss him tremendously, and Joe was like, just because of the action, he's like, yeah, having a purpose. And I remember you could just look at his face, like that not having a purpose, and he just said, and that's why he keeps going back to it, which is really upsetting because he actually says it like he doesn't have any problems with his like. It's really funny how he says it. Like he's like, I don't have any brain problems, liver, lungs, this, that, and the other. I just have my back injury. Well, he has a debilitating back and neck injury where he can barely even walk correctly.
Yeah.
So he's had like multiple different surgeries
like 13,
on it.
Like 13 total.
Because it's fucked up. He gets it fixed, and then he doesn't do the proper PT and rest and whatnot, and he gets back in the gym, starts doing shit he shouldn't be, and then fucks it up again.
Yeah.
It's because he just psychologically has nothing without the gym.
Yeah, it's just like that mentality that got in there. Like, you know, like he's having like a hard time dialing it back. I feel like, you know, and like I respect that, and I also like, you know, it's also like you got to be smart. You know, like you got to recognize.
Got to be smart.
Like you got to figure out maybe like start challenging yourself like intellectually, or find some other new like thing you can chase or like grow in, because like your body's, you know, kind of like it's not in its peak anymore. You know, and you're gonna do more damage to it than you know, like it's detrimental now to do that, you know?
Yeah, you see that in all sports.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. Yeah, it's just funny how he'll just be like, yeah, I don't have any injuries, like everything's fine, just my back. It's like, well, just your back, like you can barely walk, dude.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. All right, that's it there. What time are we at? 107. You want to go over the UFC stuff, or?
I feel like.
It's fitness related.
Oh, yeah, we can real quick.
All right, we'll just sum it up real quick. So the UFC, fitness related. We're fans of the UFC. It's very interesting as of late, and I think it has a lot to do with the COVID too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's the live gate.
It's like the main reason I actually probably because of the live gate. So, a lot of their big athletes, Jorge Masvidal, John Jones, Connor, yep, and
I think Cejudo was already kind of done though. Like
he said he doesn't want to do it because they're not paying him enough.
Yeah, but I also heard like he said he'd come back for certain fights. But I mean, he's already done a lot, you know. Like
he's done it all.
Like if you listen to him on the podcast, he was saying that like he's pretty happy with what he's done, you know, and he really has.
He's gotten a gold medal in the Olympics in wrestling at the age 21.
He's a double champ.
That's fucking bananas, first of all.
Yeah.
And then he's a double champ. Yeah. And he said the only reason he'd ever come back is if to get the third title. In a different.
Was it?
I can't remember the homeboy's name, but to move up in weight and fight that guy, to be the triple champ.
He named like 3 fighters that he said like he would come back because he'd like to fight them.
I just heard one.
Oh, really?
Who did he say?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I remember the podcast him like saying like.
I thought he just said one on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
I thought it was just one. I can't remember his name, but to move up in weight and get a third title. But regardless.
But the other 3 are a little bit different because they're still like. They could still have a lot more. I mean, not that he couldn't, but he's, you know.
I mean, they're all in their peak, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor's kind of probably a little bit past the peak, but he's still a superstar.
Well, he could be in his peak if he just, like, would actually fight, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he could, you know. He's not.
Just to say, none of them are, like, long in the tooth. They all have a lot to give to the sport if they wanted to, but they're refusing because they're not getting paid enough money.
Yeah.
And
I hear it on both sides, you know.
Yeah. That's a good point. Because, like, for example, like, Jorge, he signed a contract and said, like, I'm cool with getting paid this much. and then like he's like 1 or 2 fights into the contract, and he's saying like, nah, I want to get more. But then John Jones a little bit different because he agreed to a contract at light heavyweight, and now he wants to move up to heavyweight and fight Francis Ngannou, who, I mean, that would, like Joe says, that would probably be the first fight that John would be an underdog in, because he just hits so goddamn hard, and he can knock him out very easily. And he's like, I want more money for that. I mean, and which is understandable. That's the higher you go up in the weight, the more risk. Yeah. The higher the risk is, because you can get just flatlined. You're probably not gonna get flatlined at like bantamweight, So that's interesting. Conor, I don't know what's going on with Conor.
Well, he wants like one of the fight. Like he wants, like.
I think he's really upset that Gaethje won that fight.
Well, it's just like the division's kind of tied up, or like all the guys he wants to fight are kind of tied up, and like
Gaethje's gonna fight homeboy from Russia.
Like there's like the other fighters kind of have passed like that now, like because like the way it's played out, like they're on track to follow these paths and come against each other, and it ties up the fights that Conor wanted.
But I know I get he wants a particular fight, but he has to fight Tony.
Yeah,
I don't think he wants that.
Yeah.
Because Gaethje has to fight Khabib, right? Khabib's the champ. Is he champ, technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't fought in a minute, so I forgot.
Yeah.
And then Gaethje, won versus Tony. And then...
I mean, are we coming into Ramadan soon, or when is that?
I don't know.
I know that's
a good point.
That was going to tie up Khabib until, like, September, they were saying.
And Russia's probably still on lockdown for COVID. So, that's a good point. But he has to fight Tony. I mean...
It just sucks because there's a lot of, like, really, like... There's a lot of like kind of stars in the UFC, or at least people like stars that like UFC fans like. Like the general pop probably really knows like Conor and maybe I don't know someone
John
else.
Jones, just because of his antics.
Yeah, but like they're like for like UFC fans, like there's a lot of like good fighters out there that we want matchups that we want to see, but like it's kind of hard because like the money isn't really there for both parties to make money.
Yeah, like you said, because of sort of, but
I mean the live gate's huge
because of the live gate, and then what was I gonna say? Shit. Live gates and the new business model, because they're not doing the pay-per-views, so they just get a flat rate of however much it is from ESPN, and they just have to put out so many fights, whatever that is. They don't care at all the quality of those fights in those cards. They just need to get them out. So when someone's asking for a ridiculous amount of money, they're probably not gonna get the same return on investment that they would if they were doing a pay-per-view, as opposed to just putting on like 10 just average to above average fights. So
it's kind of a tough situation at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of the pay-per-view thing. I don't know the business reason behind that. But I feel like you should reserve those for the big ones, the big boys, and then just have those average to a little bit above average cards on ESPN Plus, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird situation. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it for this one.
Yeah, sorry, it's kind of like probably like a week later than we thought.
Yeah, I mean.
Real life stuff, the riots and whatnot.
Yeah, the world kept ending, so.
Yeah, the riots. Those were relatively close to home. Destroyed.
Some of them were actually, yeah.
Destroyed your jiu-jitsu gym.
Yep.
My sister's work got destroyed down at the Pike. But it's all fixed now.
Yeah, we're getting the ball rolling again.
For the most part. So, yeah, we're trying to stick to twice a week. That just happened, so that was kind of tough.
Or every 2 weeks, you mean?
Once every 2 weeks,
yeah,
what did I say?
twice a week.
That would be too much. Once every 2 weeks, my bad.
Yeah.
Dyslexia, sorry. All right. So, yeah, that's it, everyone. Thanks for listening. This has been the Performance Academy. My name is Zach.
I'm Josh. Until next time.
See ya.
Later.
Cool. Lit.